Hare Krishna. My name is Yogeshwar. I'm with deep respect and intense gratitude extending my greeting to all of you. The topic today is about death. What is death? Why do we have to die? One time there was a great king in the Vedic literature. His name was Yudhishthira, who was the king of the entire globe. At that time, yes, according to the scriptures, according to Srila Prabhupada, the entire planet was ruled by one person. That is how it was in the bygone times. One king was ruling the entire globe. And one of these kings is called Yudhishthira. And one time, a question was put across him by the superintendent of death, Yamaraj, a personality who is assigned by the Supreme Being. His job is that he judges the deviant souls who pass away and they are sinful are sent to him to be judged. So his name is called Yamaraj, the superintendent of death. He asked this powerful king that what is the most wonderful thing you found in this world you are living in? What you found to be very wonderful? Tell me. Immediately the king answered, the most wonderful thing found on this planet is that day and night people are dying and they are carried to the cemetery to be thrown away. But people fail to ask themselves, what is death? They never inquire, but rather they think their time has not yet come. Even though they are carried their fellow man to be thrown away, but they never ask themselves, even though they know it will by all means come to them, but they think the time is not yet. That is the most wonderful thing found on this world. This is a fact. We are not inquisitive. The world is full of questions, but we fail to move a step to ask such questions, which actually is the most important. We found a very beautiful statement in this our small book called Coming Back. The author remarked that man's most mysterious, relentless, and inevitable adversary. Does that mean the end of life, or does it merely open the door to another life, another dimension, or another world? And he went on saying that when man endeavors to understand something beyond the scope of the material senses, beyond instrument of measurement and the faculty of mental speculation, then there's no alternative but to approach a higher source of knowledge. We don't even ask, how can we approach the higher knowledge? The very time a human being will sit down and ask himself this type of question, why am I to die? If he's baffled and he comes to the point where he questions himself, that is intelligent. But before this question can be answered, we have to know certain basic things. You first have to understand the difference between this body you are having and you yourself. According to the higher source of knowledge, the body differs from you, the soul. You are not the body. That is the ABC of spiritual understanding. When a person comes to understand perfectly that he is not this body, then the chances for him to understand something more higher is assured. But if he never asks, then he has not yet come up to human platform. We see our mother dying, our father dying, our children are dying, our wives are dying, and we know deeply that we will also die. But why are we not asking what happens when death occurs? So this is very, very, very important question. But before we can understand what is death, we also have to bring in what is birth. Birth and death are two concomitant factors. You can't just understand only one. According to this spiritual science, the soul don't belong to this material world. One time I was having a dialogue with one Christian minister, and I asked him, can you please tell me the purpose of human life, or generally the purpose of life? He told me yes. The purpose of life here is to become a servant of God and serve God. And I said, yes, that is true. But where is God? He told me God dwells in heaven. And I asked him, is he a king then? He said, yeah, he's a powerful king, that no king can be compared to him. And I asked him, is he living alone there? He said, no. Once he's a king, there are others subjects who are also there with him. So that is a fact. So, why are we here in the first place? I asked him. What is their purpose in being with him there? Where is he? He's in heaven. He is not living alone there as a king. Logically, people are with him there. And their purpose living there with him is that they are servant of the Supreme Being. So it means they are also render service to him in that kingdom. And the same purposes applies to me here. I asked the pastor, here is a doleful world. There is birth, there is death, there is old age, there is disease. Can we find these things there in the kingdom of God? He said no. So why am I here in the first place? If the Supreme Being is having a place which is very, very conducive for me to remain there and serve him peacefully, a place where there's no birth, there's no death, there's no old age, there's no disease, and people are there serving him peacefully, why am I here in a doleful world serving the same purposes to the Supreme? If he has a better place for me to render service to him, why here in a dangerous place? Here, certain things are forced upon me against my wishes. This person found it difficult to give answer to this question. So from there, I proved to him that accept this place within God's creation as a prison house. So it's a fact, we are all prisoners. The souls are in prison with the sentence of birth, death, old age, and disease. Who likes them? Nobody. A place where certain things are forced upon you against your wishes, accept that place as a prison. So this place is called prison. Therefore, death simply means the time has come for you to face judgment, to determine whether you are qualified to be released from this prison or still remain within the prison. That is what death actually means. In actual sense, death pertains to the physical body. We, the real self, never die. We are eternal. It's only the physical body that comes to an end. The physical body, according to the higher source of knowledge, it comes into being. Growth, produced by products. Stay for some time, dwindled, and then vanish. That is the journey of the physical body. Every living thing, all material objects, passes through these 6 changes. So the body, which is material, has its own journey. It passes through 6 transformations. Then at long run, it vanishes. But the soul, who is found within the material body, still remains. So we take birth within this material world. That means that soul who left his body couldn't enter its real destination, and he has to take birth again. There are so many areas. This planet we are in is not the only one. Countless number of planets within countless number of universes. Comprises, all of them are considered material world. Apart from that, we have the spiritual world. Actually, the material world is found within the spiritual world. We are not out of the spiritual world. We are right inside it. Just like in New York, we have the prison house, but it's right inside New York. A certain area, portion, is considered to be where they put up the prison house, but it's within New York. So the kingdom of God is called a spiritual sky. there a certain small portion is filled with darkness. That is also God's arrangement, Christian arrangement. And that portion is where the entire material world is situated. Outside that area is spiritual world, where God dwells with his pure servants. So, why are we in the material world? According to the all sorts of knowledge, the soul was a particle, always, not was, is always a particle of the Supreme Soul, God. A particle means when you take gold bar and you break a portion, that portion is considered to be called a particle. And that particle consists of all the ingredients found in the gold bar. So, we are not created beings. We are a small degree of God's expansion. When the Bible says man was created in the image of God, that is what it means. One time, someone challenged me that God created man. So we are men. And I told him, no, we are not men. He created man, but we are not man. He asked me to prove it, and I said that the Bible says God picked the earth and formed a man. Say yes. And I said, when he formed the man, was the man talking? Say no. Was he breathing? Say no. Was he acting anyhow? Say no. What happened? See, after he created the man, he breathed into his nostrils. See, yes, that is the fact. Man was created, that is the dust he picked from the ground. That refers to the man, but we are not the dust. The one that came later is the real you, and that was not created. The spirit is not a created thing. It's something that manifested from the Supreme Being. And because God has a form, the particle also has a form. So he formed the coat with the dust. He knows that the person who is coming to wear that dust is with form. Therefore, he gave it a form. You have the legs, you have the hands, you have the feet, you have everything. So the form is a prison suit, which actually is forced upon the soul. Deep inside him, he don't like it. Nobody wants a prison uniform. We are trying to pamper this body, doing so many ways we try to pamper it without knowing the nature of this body. The medical literature tells us that it's within our best interest that we find a means to vacate this body or to put aside this body and go home. Because we don't know the nature of it, we don't know what it is. Without knowing, according to the knowledge, it is a bad bargain for the soul. The soul don't like it. We need somebody to tell us that. And that will be based upon our inquiries. If you don't inquire, then we still have to remain ignorant in that way. And the same book that I read gave a very nice statement from Srimad Bhagavatam, the cream of Vedic literature. Kamasya nendriya priti labo jivita yavasa jivasya tatua jijnasa natoya cheha kamabi. The translation is, life desires should never be aimed at gratifying the senses. One should desire to live only because human life enables one to inquire about the absolute truth. This should be the goal of all works. This here, everything is clear. There's no question of praying for long life, longevity, without having this statement in mind. You want to live long. For what? Just to eat, to sleep, enjoy with your wife, and then try to defend yourself? And because of this, you want to live 1,000 years? You are losing the goal of life. The purpose behind life is missing. So this human form of life is to help you to inquire into the absolute truth. If you fail to do, nature will give you many chances to come and pursue it. You don't know how many times you have taken birth, because anytime you die, we have not learned our lesson. Therefore, we won't gain a chance to go back home. We push back into the material world, the prison house again. How many times we have incarnated, nobody can check. Death is not a new thing to the soul. The oncoming one is not the first one. It's not the first one. The soul is eternal. So you cannot check how many times, how long he has remained within this house, the prison house. Thousands, millions of years. And God has given us 8,400,000 different forms of life. This is the open secret that through inquiries with a spirit to understand, you will come to know it. That 8,400,000 different forms of life, which the Supreme Lord has created. Why? Because numerous living entities who want to part from the Supreme, they want to enjoy outside the Supreme, and they want to be in the category of the Supreme, are given a chance to act accordingly in the material world, not in the spiritual world. The spiritual world, God say, I'm here, I alone is the supreme enjoyer. If you want to come to my category, not here. But there's a place I will give you. That is the creation of this material world. And you become forgetful because of that desire we generated. The desire to enjoy. So, variety is the mother of enjoyment. So he created numerous forms so that the soul can enjoy through them. A particular soul wants to sleep the whole 24 hours. God says there's a body for that. A particular soul wants to have affair with a woman every day. God says, rest assured, there's a body for that. A particular soul wants to sleep unlimitedly. God says there's a body for that. That is how things are. We see different forms of body. It's not for our consumption, as people think. There's nothing that is hidden. It's only because we are lazy and we are not making steps to find answers. And more so, we fail to question ourselves. Certain things. The world is full of questions. If a human being says you don't have a question, then it means he has not come up to that human platform. In a human platform, there's always a question all the time. We are in the world where every living entity is a food for another living entity. There are threefold miseries. Threefold miseries. One, the miseries that is caused by one's own mind and his body. This body, sometimes you feel headache. That's the pain given to you by the body. And then mental pain, sometimes you lose a beloved or you lose your job. This is mental pain. This, everyone experiences it. Everybody experiences that. The misery is caused by the mind and the body. That is one. Who can say he's not experiencing that? The second misery is caused by other living beings. What have you done to the mosquito? It's biting you. It's giving you pain. A doctor can perform surgery and commit a mistake and paralyze you. That is another living being giving us problems. A thief pounds on you and steals everything of you. He's a living entity giving you a problem. So that is another misery in this material world, and everybody passed through that. The third misery is the miseries that was forced on us by superior power. We experienced earthquake, tsunami, hurricane, famine, flood. All these things are forced upon us by superior forces. When we say a prison is a place where certain things are forced on you against your wishes. All these things are there together with birth, death, old age, and disease. Your body, this entire body also is exposed to pain. Nowhere that is pain that you don't say, hey, please. So how can the soul enjoy this body, which is exposed to pain all over? So if we examine things closely, we will see that it's a fact. This place is not a very good place for a gentleman. My grand spiritual master, Shri Prabhupada, make that statement. It's not good for a gentleman. Every sensible being with cool-hearted mind can think and then, come out with certain questions. And when that is done, you come to realize and start making a step to find the answers. That is what God is expecting us to do. He says, the soul is rotating from body to body, according to his desire. And at long run, this soul will attain human birth. That is the good chance for the soul. Because the human form of body is the topmost. When the soul comes to that human platform, then the chance for him to inquire is assured. That is why some scriptures like the Bible, it said that man is the last creation of God. And it is deep explained in the Vedic literatures that a soul is passing through 8,400,000 different forms for different type of enjoyment. Actually, these 8,400,000 different forms are there because the consciousness are also with that number. According to the type of consciousness you are developing, determine the body you are entering at the time of death. So it's a very serious matter. We take birth and we die. We don't know how many times. Because anytime death occurs, we are not prepared to get out from the prison house. You become attached. The glamour within the material world has captivated our mind. So anytime we are out from this material world and we face judgment, we are not qualified to go home, and then we are sent back. So someone say you don't believe in reincarnation. It's not a question of belief. Actually, to understand death, birth, that also involves in reincarnation and karma. These four things comes together and you can understand things as they are. Otherwise, you can't just pick one and try to understand it. So, it is deeply explained by Krishna when he was dealing with Arjuna, his friend, on the battlefield, when Arjuna was confused of his duty. Krishna pointed it out that for one who has taken birth, death is certain. And for one who is dead, birth is certain. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament, he told Arjuna. One who has taken birth, Krishna says, death is assured. And one who has died, birth is assured. So far that we are here with this material body, death is assured. And then one who dies must face judgment. If he qualified, he go home. If not, take birth. Birth is not spiritual, it's material. The soul never takes birth. It's only the material body that takes birth. But it appears that the soul, nobody can born a soul. The soul is unborn, ever eternal. It's only the material body that takes birth. Once you remain in the material world, death is always there. And death simply means you become forgetful of your present form of body. Actually, death means forgetfulness. We forget. Without forgetfulness, there will also another problem, because if Krishna allows us to remember our spiritual position, then how can our desire be fulfilled? We desire to stay outside him for our own stupid enjoyment. He allows us to see whether we can fulfill our desires. So if he allows us to remember or to have in mind the condition in the spiritual world, then our desire can be fulfilled. So please, we must exercise our human intelligence. Just as the small book is saying, that life desire should never be aimed at gratifying the senses. One should desire to live only because human life enables one to inquire about the absolute truth. That is the purpose of human life. When the soul comes to human platform, you have the chance to inquire, to get out from the prison. So the suffering that is going on in this material world is for our ultimate interest. Because without suffering, how can one come to that platform of inquiry? We try to avoid pain and embrace pleasures. But actually, without the pain, we can't be self-realized. So those who are self-realized, those who have divine qualities, they don't concentrate on pleasures that make the human form of body become comfortable. They rather feel that instead there must be some pain. That is where the austerity comes in. Suffering is also very important. If the person or one who knows the reason behind it, then suffering is also very good. But it's not good for a person who don't know the reason behind suffering. We cane a child to correct him. So without caning the child, somehow, he will still remain ignorant. So suffering is imposed on us for a reason. So please, I'm ending up here. Maybe tomorrow I'll continue. Death is a process which actually is giving us rehabilitation. Those who are with knowledge see it in that way. Hare Krishna.